So, ni hao. I think many people are wondering, what the heck is a chief robotics officer, right? When I joined UiPath, we were 120 people. And I'm part of the product organization, driving the roadmap, integrating or finding, partners, technology partners to integrate into the product. And now I'm leading worldwide all the automation immersion labs. So this is going to be to show how our technology can be integrated in many different ways and solution can be built. So that's me in case you wonder what a robotics automation officer is. So let me start from this point, and you've seen this slide before. Bobby has shown this very nicely and explained. But what I'm trying to explain here from a product perspective, the one key thing which made our product so powerful is the capability of computer vision. The capability that you can actually, whenever you have a computer screen, you can really relate the field and just say wherever the company name is right next to it, that's the information I want to extract and process. And you don't need to touch that robotic process script anymore because the robot already knows. And when the screen would change, the robot would automatically understand that there's a change. So computer vision is one of the key parts. What we then realized also that there's, BPM and so forth has been there far longer. But BPM is a very long process to implement. You talk about the to-be process, getting people from the company to talk about the to-be out of their normal business operations, very difficult. RPA, you can automate the process now, the process you do now in the now environment. So totally different ballgame. And summer of AI is AI technologies have now become far more practical to embed. In fact, AI technologies always need an embedding. Either you have them already combined as an application, or you have to put it with something in order to make it operate. If you want to automate a process that a human does, you have to use RPA. And one of the key things is that if you use that AI technology now and combine it with RPA, then you actually make it far more powerful. I will show an example with SkyMind technology where basically the RPA process uses SkyMind as a decision-making enablement, and it uses deep learning. So bringing this all together makes a big, big difference. The other aspect here is RPA also enables the digital transformation. There are 4 key things around the digital transformation that are really relevant. The first one is you have to, engage your customer. Whatever you do for digital transformation, it's about engaging your customer, making customer experience different, better, in all means. RPA can actually serve as that because RPA can link into any legacy environment, and you can put up front a nice visual, whatever, new web interface, whatever you want to do. Very powerful. So you can change the way you engage with customers. You can empower your employees because the training is for non-technical people. We have a customer in Finland that has no RPA developers who are technical people. They are purely the guys who do the process. Very powerful. Third one is about optimizing operations. That's what the nature of RPA is. So that's a no-brainer. And then lastly, a new service. If you see that you can take or combine legacy environments with your new environments, you can really transform your products in the end. So there's a retail insurance that uses their old systems, defining a total new product just with the ability of combining RPA and doing the job in between. We even go that far that you can have a legacy Siebel Oracle and the Oracle CX running in parallel, and you can see live how your old legacy system would look like in the new Oracle CX environment. And the people who have implemented that, one of our partners, Meridian, has said, we've done it with RPA because it's much faster and adaptable than as if we would start implementing APIs and interfaces and so forth. That's how powerful the digital transformation is with RPA. So when we designed our product, we actually broken it down to kind of the 5 key pillars. And if you ask me about what are the key differentiators, it's these 5 bits. Because the first one is around open platform. And I will show something about open platform in particular. Open platform means it's easy, accessible, you can integrate it with everything. And that's kind of the key principle of our platform. A rich amount of APIs, but also a rich amount of even open source connectors, which I will show you in a second. Rapid results. Rapid results, our product is very easy to use. You can just record yourself and you get the entire visual process for your automation, which you can then execute. So creating rapid results. We are in all the hackathons. If we have customer hackathons, we always end up ahead, about 40% quicker than any other product because of the ease of use of our product. So that's a very important factor. The next one is path to AI. And the path to AI is like Bobby said in the panel. It needs to be open. There's not just one AI solution that cuts all the mustard. There's multiple technologies that we need to integrate. And in particular in China, we need to integrate a lot more of the Chinese AI technologies that you're also used to, and that's very important. Scalability is the other big factor, because it's all great if you have a wonderful technology, but if it doesn't scale, it's not enterprise ready. And so this is one of the key factors, and our technology is one of the ones that is really scalable. When we mentioned the community edition, which uses the orchestrator in the cloud, this orchestrator in the cloud runs more than 23,000 robots all over the world. One orchestrator in the cloud. And they can be configured everywhere. We know that our configuration scales really, really good. And the last point is security. The fact is, the biggest challenge in automation on security is not a robot or whatsoever, it's the human. That's the biggest challenge. The robot actually takes the standard process and will turn it into a robot, so it's highly controllable. So actually it improves it. And security is one of the key factors to ensure encryption and all the mechanisms, the right authentication and so forth, is key to our platform. So together with these 5, we are building this platform which is kind of continuously embracing more and more other technologies from our ecosystem to give you a full and growing breadth of our capability. So our vision is not just, here's a piece of technology which is RPA. Our vision is a holistic picture. We look at it end to end. We look at what are the other technologies that need to integrate in order to be meaningful and powerful to deploy in an enterprise. So these are the 5 pillars. Let me talk about our recent release, the 2018.3. It's a very powerful release. And you have seen today a demo of that release. And there's a number of key features in that release that really make a big difference. One of the key features is this global shared library support. So you can produce your automations and publish them into a library that others can automatically share. Very powerful. Now you can kind of exchange that. You can upload it directly even in our UiPath Go marketplace and make it available for many other people. That's very powerful. we have far more new features around kind of, understanding dependencies on the robots. We have more localization support, so Japanese, for example, and soon you'll have all the full Chinese support, which is very important and very key on our roadmap. We've done a lot more around kind of data of usability and so forth in our orchestrator, more dashboards. So quite a powerful means that you will see there going forward. And on the robot side, we have a very powerful means. You can embed Java code, put it into the workflow, and wrap a function around it, and put it into the shared library, and you can easily reuse that element. But the other powerful thing is you can use HTML. So you can create a website, a web form, and that web form can be run by a robot. What can you do with it? You can create kiosk solutions. Just with a robot, HTML embedded, there you go, and it could handle and enter the data into any legacy environment. It's a complete new customer experience you can build with that. So very, very powerful ways of doing this, and a lot more encryption security features we have implemented in this version as well. The new version will even have some more features around security. SAML 2.0, SSO, the whole security smart card support will come with the new feature 18.4. 18.4 is basically going to be delivered beginning of next year or end of this December. So watch out for it. It's going to be very, very meaningful. Plus, very meaningful as well, in 18.4, you will see later on, is screens for intelligent OCR and the validation. I'll talk about it in a second. So the biggest thing, and it was demoed already, the UiPath Go, our marketplace, and very important to explain, it's not just kind of some ready-to-use pre-configured processes, it's connectors. So it's a lot more that we offer. It's machine learning models. You can download quite a number of things. So here's an example for the integration into Salesforce. So this is our UiPath Studio. And with Salesforce, we have very powerful connectors. And these connectors, or wizards, as they term, you can immediately test the connection. You can enter kind of the key points, and you can immediately see the data selection. So here's a very, very powerful way of testing your connection and retrieving data, pushing data to Salesforce directly by just doing it interactively using those powerful wizards. We have these wizards for SAP as well, so you can use the SAP BAPI interface just throughout the wizard, and everything else, when you take data and put that into a legacy system, that's all done through UI automation with the robot. But you can use directly these powerful APIs, as you see in this example. So which leads me to the point that, and I mentioned the integration and openness that we have available. There's an open source solution which generates Node.js code. You use, the technology here is called Node-RED. Node-RED was actually invented by IBM. IBM Technologies Labs, they created Node-RED, and it's very powerful. You may have come across it if you are doing home automation or in manufacturing, because it's actually an IoT adapter. And let me switch and show you a bit of how it looks like. So let me demo that. If you switch to my screen. Not happening? So, it's obviously not coming. Try again. Okay. There it is. Exactly. So now I have to steer this whole thing just on the big screen. So what you see here, this is Node-RED. Node-RED is open source. You can basically drag and drop those components. Here, for example, we have, and this component is free. Is on the, if you install Node-RED, you just look for the NMP library of UiPath, and then you can immediately import it, and then it will be here available on the side down here. And basically, with this one, if you click on it, it gives you the entire component. Everything that our API has is available here. You can access the processes, you can schedule things, you can access work queues, everything. Now you can do very powerful things here, because what you can do is you could design a Node.js node that basically enables the watching of emails or Twitter. And here, by the way, you have WeChat. So you can easily just create a Node.js that kind of connects into WeChat and does powerful things. You could also do things like forms. So if I look at this one, here's a little form. If you click on this, there you see you can just create your fields, and then you just press here up here, the deployment button, generates Node.js, and off you go. And it looks like this. There's your form, and it's fully functional. You can build any kind of connection using Node-RED and connecting that to UiPath. You can do home automation. You can do connection to Google Dialogflow, to Core AI, to any kind of chatbot environment that you want. Now you can switch again. So this is how it works, which makes it very powerful. Any Watson you want to integrate, there are ready-made libraries available for this. So this is a very powerful means, which is like our entire philosophy of being open and really embracing what you are doing, what you want to do with any kind of integration, a very powerful means. We also integrate, whoops, you're going to go back? Thank you. We also integrate with all these partners. These are very powerful partners in terms of, for example, you see here a lot of partners that are around the BPM area. So Innate, I'm going to show you a quick snapshot of Innate. We have Business Optics. You can use our process XAML files, our process RPA code, upload it into Business Optics, and you will see it as a nice kind of process chart, very powerful. Celonis, one of the kind of process mining space, so is Minute. NewGen, another BPM solution. You see AI solutions, like I mentioned, here, SkyMine, for example. Puff is another powerful solution for process mining. Ominous. These are intelligent OCR solutions. So we have really kind of selected a bunch of very exciting solutions in order to help our customers find the optimal solution. So here's an example for Innate. Innate is very powerful in terms of if you want to orchestrate the work between robots and humans, that's exactly what you can do here. So here, for example, in Innate, you can build a process just like that, and here you see is a robot in the HR system triggering something. So you can kind of log in here, you can submit this, and then the processing and the coordination between human and the robot is coordinated. Innate is easily integrated. You see these are the tasks as a task list. So very often you don't have a predefined process, but you know how the people are working. You know that there's people, this group is working on claims processing, this group is working on a totally different area. So you can create kind of trays or queues that people can be work on, and you can design a service kind of delivery process around this. And this is what you do with Innate. A very useful solution, fully integrated with our platform, so something that is kind of very, very useful to integrate and not very expensive compared to what you see in the market. So the open and free community, if you think of how many people we have already, how many people we're supporting, and look at what kind of trainings we are offering. So it's trainings, non-technical trainings, it's awareness trainings. Our customers are using this to train their own people and enabling them to create their own automations. Very important, the emphasis on Chinese. We also start, it was mentioned, the educational programs with universities, but it's not just universities, it's actually also, schools. We just conducted a few sessions with children, and it was amazing. And we are doing far more. We are going to open it up in a big way, because that's our key investment that we think we need to evangelize and bring people to make it easy to automate their task. So the investments that we have and all our Series B and C funding, and just also the recent one that you've seen, is all about where to invest them in most cases. And one of the key areas is around the whole AI area. So we are building a kind of a world-class AI organization, and we will, include the talent wherever we can find it, and there's big talent in China. So the way we integrate it is, if you think of the kind of processes RPA does, is particular where it comes about processing data, collecting data, even tagging data. One of the biggest challenges in the whole world of AI is 80% is the data preparation. We actually could automate a lot in this field. We can help, making data tagging and so forth, distributed amongst people and bringing the human in the loop. We can use the UI interface, UI automation, and that's a powerful means, and then combine this with machine learning systems. If you think about here, one of the partnerships we have, a data robot. You can throw data at data robot. Data robot will find the huge library, the best algorithm and the best solution for your machine learning problem, and you can connect directly to that data robot machine learning library and connect it with UiPath to have a decision, to have any kind of classification, prediction, clustering, whatever you need, you can find in that library. We have a very interesting example, which I'm going to show right now, with SkyMind, where we built a little end-to-end solution. And SkyMind is a platform that is kind of predominantly very often also used here in China, and is a very powerful platform. And of course, we use Azure ML, we use Google ML, IBM Watson. All these are ready-made kind of procedures which are embedded. Let me give you an example, and now you have to switch on the sound.
UiPath robots can use AI to screen candidates for a job position in an HR management application. Based on the contents of the candidate's resume, the robot will decide whether that candidate is a good match for the position or not. To do that, the robot uses the Skill platform, which is offered by SkyMind and allows the creation of custom AI models. In the Activities panel on the left side, we can see activities used to interact with Skill, like Skill Deployment Scope, Classified Data, and Decision Learner. They are used in this workflow that reads the resume from a PDF and then transforms the data into a representation that the AI model can process. After that, the robot will classify the candidate based on the contents of the resume. And it'll output a prediction of what kind of professional he or she is, as well as its confidence level about that prediction. If the confidence level is lower than a specific threshold, the robot will request the help of an operator. By using the Decision Learner activity, the operator can teach the robot whether that candidate fits the requirements of the job position. Finally, based on the prediction, the robot will shortlist the candidate or reject the application. Let's run the workflow and see how it works in practice. First, the robot opens and logs into the HR management system. It then checks the list of candidates and filters the applications that were initiated for the data scientist position. For each candidate, the robot accesses the page with the details and downloads the PDF containing the resume of the candidate. It saves the file and reads its contents. We can see here that we already have a strange situation. A farmer applying for a data scientist position. Well, this must have been a mistake. the robot understands that this candidate is not a good match for the data scientist position and automatically rejects the application. In the last step of the evaluation, it writes a note to indicate that this candidate was screened by a robot. The robot then moves to the next candidate, opens the details page, and downloads the new resume. Based on the content, like education and skills, the robot understands that this is a data scientist, shortlists the candidate, and writes a note about the automatic screening. Now the robot will evaluate the last initiated application. The last candidate to be processed also has a technical background, but not exactly the profile of a data scientist. Since the robot doesn't have enough confidence to decide, it will ask for the help of an operator. The operator can examine the resume and teach the robot if this candidate fits the profile of a data scientist. This new data is then used to improve the accuracy and the confidence of the AI model. After processing all candidates, the robot closes all used applications and finishes its execution. This demo showed how to integrate UiPath with the Skill platform to create the next generation of robots that can make decisions and learn from humans.
And that's a very important step, having a system that does deep learning, fully integrated, learns from the human in the loop the decision of, is that the right profile or the wrong profile? So the way we believe to integrate AI is you look at the process and you identify the decision points. And for these decision points, where you want to have that capability, you apply deep learning and you integrate with the ready-made library that is available of SkyMind, for example. Here is an example that shows how RPA and machine learning plays together. So we have 3 machine learning models. We have an embedded solution, as I mentioned already, with NLP. So you could use it to classify a request. Is it a loan request? Yes, it is. Is it a claim? Yeah, no, it isn't. So these kind of things you can easily do with the NLP token logic. You can then identify who is it about. You can also use NLP for that. And then you can use a deep learning model like from SkyMind to make the actual prediction whether this person is going to default or not. So you use RPA to navigate the data through the machine learning models. You also use RPA to keep the models in the best level of accuracy, because that's a very important task as well, and managing these models. And now we have another very powerful means, which is up there, which is the attended robot. The attended robot is the robot that runs on your desktop. It can see what you can see. It could actually, you don't need to wait to get an email and read an email. It could read it just from the screen when you're looking at it. It could give you a recommendation. And this is where attended robotics becomes so exciting. Let me give you a bit more of an insight into intelligent OCR. What we realized is that there are many ways. So if you think of the very basic form and you map that against kind of format varieties, the biggest challenge is you can have so many invoices, and if you have a very fixed amount, great. You can go with technologies that is template based. Very good. Abby is one of the strongest in this particular area. And then you can maybe even use a technology where they use AI or machine learning for the templates to adjust. Works very well, high volume and so forth. But then you have the extraction complexity. If you have a lot of fields you want to extract, that's a different matter. So then you probably need to use something like a deep learning based system, and you need a machine learning model. And each machine learning model is specialized on something. If you think on kind of solutions like Ominous, is specially done for insurances. But if you give it something else, it would struggle maybe, and you have to create a new machine learning model to enable that extraction. So what we're trying to say is there's not one solution that solves all the challenges in business. You have to consider multiple solutions you're going to put in, and there are many more that we are actually integrating, and these ones are the ones that absolutely integrate with our platform. This is the whole process. This is how it looks today if you have a validation. So if your OCR system is extracting information and gets the human involved to validate whether the data has been properly validated, that's how it looks today with our current framework. You come into the office, you trigger this process automation, it pops up all the validations that have been discovered by the backend system, and this is what it looks like. In 18.4, so next release, this is what's going to look like. If you have any validation of any OCR, this is what's going to look like. It's much nicer, much easier to tag. You'll be surprised. It's very powerful. So 18.4 is going to be a delight in the whole intelligent OCR area. And with this Node-RED integration, we of course integrated Dialogflow. I have another example where we integrated Google Home, but considering time, I may skip this, and coming to this point. So in the end, in business, we realize these are the key categories where machine learning or machine intelligence is going to be embedded. So rule-based, we have an RPA, but the visual understanding, computer vision is key. Being able to map that to identify objects, and we are working very closely with many companies in this area, of course with the big ones like Google, that allow things like, we have a damage estimator. So you send in a picture of a broken car, and it gives you an estimation of the kind of damage that it has had. So there are many ways that we are integrating it. So in business, you need the visual understanding, you need a document understanding, any document understanding to structure it, extract information, and recognizing what intent is behind and process that. Conversational, so all the chatbots, and self-maintaining. So being able to handle exceptions. So if the process, if the robot kind of fails, how to deal with the exception situation, there's a decision mechanism that actually the robot could do itself. And this is what we mean with self-maintaining. And then if you look into when you have a lot of data and in the process mining space, that's where you want to have predictive analytics and decision. That's when you want to have process monitoring and discovery. And this leads to this point where we integrate. Today, we have available a process recorder, which is basically an attended robot script that you can just run. And you can run that in the background, and it will register all activities you're doing. You can then feed that into process mining tools, such as Celonis, and it will help you to visualize the actual process. Why do we use it? We use it to discover opportunities for automation. Very often you have a hunch that this could be the right process, but if this process is being performed in so many different ways, although it is the right opportunity, it may be a rabbit hole because your expectation is to have it implement faster, to automate it, but you can't because it's so many ways it's being used so that you're actually not covering a process that is standardized. Basic principle, automation is always applicable best where the process is standardized. If you have any standardized process, that's one ready for automation. We will, in future, take it forward to then actually take that data, have the human kind of in Celonis select the optimal process to export this into a skeleton RPA code. So basically generating automations. And with Celonis, we actually have some cooperation that we are looking at various kind of a roadmap of how we integrate. So Celonis will introduce something like a digital process assistant, an action engine. So they will identify in an SAP context, in an Oracle context, where certain activities need to be done on a daily basis, whether it's data related or whatsoever, and we can connect them to automated robotic scripts, automated robots that then perform that task. So 100% assisted in the application context of an ERP environment. So what's coming next? Key thing is, so the whole human-to-robot collaboration. the whole connection of does the robot hand off to the human and so forth. So we integrate with many BPM solutions, but we're also going to show you a much even nicer and smoother way of integrating with our product. The whole way of smart scheduling, making sure that processes are optimally distributed onto the robots. A self-service licensing in a sense that it's very flexible from an operations and license perspective. Smart capture in a sense of extracting information from any kind of document, doing all the validation. I showed you the screens. There's going to be a lot more that you're going to see. And embedded intelligence, so not just embedded like NLP, but kind of ready to use libraries that you can download from UiPath Go and run for deep learning models, decision models, and so forth. And last but not least, as I mentioned, the kind of robotic PIS, the robotic platform as a service, will also be available. So these are kind of the things that are coming next. What's also coming next, and Bobby has already mentioned, is the automation first immersion labs that I will basically roll out. We're going to have one in China as well. It will be, what is it for? It's for that you can come with your data and cases, and we have everything there to, on a day, to bring you through all the intelligent OCR with your data, if that's an area you want to concentrate on, if it's an area you want to concentrate on BPM connection, if it's a problem with Windows XP and getting that kind of connected, what solution could be, anything you can choose. We spend a whole day with an outcome that you can take into your company and say, here, this is what we've tested. This is what is kind of a proof of concept. Something tangible you can take and bring into your own company to bring your automation to the next level. So kind of looking ahead, playing around with automations, with machine intelligence and all that. And particularly in China, we want to show that with far more Chinese technologies from China. So closing thoughts is, robots are getting smarter, as I mentioned. Try the new version, the 2018.3 today. It's out there. As I said, 2018.4 is going to be really, really exciting because you have all the OCR and the data validation and all that very nicely integrated. UiPath Go, we are having so many more solutions that are being published there, very powerful. Make use of what we have demonstrated up here with SkyMind to see how it works, interacts with RPA, a deep learning database. And then I can only recommend sign up for the UiPath Academy and get started. So with that, I say 谢谢.